Good old American, good old-fashioned digging fest. I said I could plow through that number 4 rebar, but I couldn't. I'm not happy with this.
Why do I feel like I'm more excited than you?
You ain't gonna be straight. God, that sucks. And then I saw you and you went. So we got the supplies here. Buddy backed the truck up into the side of the hill. He was not feeling it at all coming down the road. And I said, look, dude, you can do it. I got 27 meters of rock brought down here. You can do it with this truck, but this truck is really wide. So it was pretty tight. We had about 5 inches on each side of the gate. So it was pretty crazy.
Oh my God.
But it's here. Oh yeah, it was tight. It was, it is what it is though. We'll be all right. And now we've got this forklift coming down. So this should be a pretty easy unload. I'm kind of liking this.
So as you can see, we got our supplies. We are starting our big courtyard project with the first project, and that's gonna be a, what do you call it? A pavilion, a pergola,
Me and
a
my mom,
pergola.
Me and my mom was already cussing each other out because I said pergola. She said, what you building this week? And I said, well, I'm building kind of like a pergola. And she said, what you talking about? You mean a pergola? And I said, I'm pretty sure it's pergola, Mom. She said, no, it's pergola. And I said, it's pergola.
I think it's like tomato and tomato.
Anyway, my mom
You let us
cussed
know
me
in the
out.
comments.
My mom cussed me out, so leave it in the comments. Say, Mama, he was right. Or you can leave a comment that said Mama was right.
Pergola, pergoli, or what's
Either way,
what
basically,
is it? Pergola.
We're building a roof. It definitely ain't pergola. We're building a roof basically to cover the trailer. We bought this trailer kind of old and used. There are a few leaks when it rains. Clearly we wanted to be closer to the river, so there's some bamboo that is going to fall on the roof at times. So we want to make something a little more robust, better shade, better overall livability for the trailer.
And it's gonna look cool.
Yeah, it's gonna protect it. It's gonna look cool, I think. Yeah, Kristen said she wanted something a little more robust, rustic looking. So we went big. You know, they say go big or go home. So we got some big timbers, and you know, we're getting into it. But first things first, we got to do what?
I don't know.
Footings.
Oh.
Before we get to the fun, pretty stuff. Okay, so we got our string line up and square. We're doing a 36 by 20. We think that's gonna work out well for us. But now that I have it, I gotta get my posts ready. I got my post base that I'm gonna use to get my marks. So for my center line, so that my footings are gonna be more to the center of the post. They can be a little off, but I want them to look nice.
bothered.
Now it's a good old American, good old-fashioned digging fest. I gotta dig these corners. The 4 corners I'm gonna do a little bit bigger. I'm doing 12 total isolated footings, so I do believe I could go a little bit smaller, but on these corners with the clay, I'm gonna go a little bit bigger. I'm gonna go 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet, so that I think that ends up being, if I'm not mistaken, 15 bags of concrete, which ends up being, it's like close to 1,000 pounds of concrete. So the footing will be 1,000 pounds, and then in succession with all of the other isolated footings, I think it's going to be very solid. It's never going to go anywhere. There will be a little bit of lift and load on this if a hurricane were to come through. You know, it might be a little scary if the pylons start coming out. So the 4 corners are going to be a little bit bigger, and then everything in the middle is going to be a little bit smaller. But we're going big. I got 100 bags of concrete, and I do intend to use them all. That's one hole done. I got to go make my forms now, because I just think it'll be easier to make the concrete level if I form the top 4 inches, and it won't affect the strength into the soil at all. So one hole done, 4 more this size to dig, and then on the rest we're doing 16 by 20. So they'll be a little bit smaller because we're downsizing to 6 by 6 posts. So it should work well. Pretty much straightforward from here on out. Digging and forming. I'm going to do 6 holes, pour them, let them dry, take my forms apart, and then put it over to form for my other holes, so that way I don't have to use twice as much wood. Alright, so we put our gravel driveway down, which we love. It's been an absolute bonus and wonderful thing that we have on the farm. But now I got a post that's going to go in here, so unfortunately I got to move this rock, which is never easy. And then we got sweet baby Panther here. He's an angel. But now that he's getting older, he's become the hunter of the pack. And for all the people that say they hate iguanas and want them all to die, he killed a tween iguana the other day and ate its head. So
And tail.
yeah, so everybody give thanks for, you know, thanks for taking care of the iguanas there, Pantera. But yeah, so a lot of people say having loose cats is bad for the environment, but then they say that iguanas are bad for the environment too. So I'm going to call Panther like a net zero there and say that even though he's bad, he takes care of something else that's bad. So he's basically just like a police. I'm going to get him a little badge.
right, guys, it's day 2 of our project. Matt got a lot of hot heat work done yesterday, but we are back again. But before we go into the next steps, I really want to update you guys on my pumpkin patch. On the last episode, I started a pumpkin patch. Me and Matt started a pumpkin patch. He did most of the work. We started the pumpkin patch, and it has exceeded my expectations. I can't say it. It's exceeded it, and now I can't wait to show you guys what we got going on. As you can see, Matt set up a good fence for me because instantly we were worried about the iguanas while we were planting them, and we wanted to keep them away from eating them before we even got started. So Matt got some bamboo that had fallen down, he chopped it up, and we put a bird net around it. You can barely see the bird net to your eye until you walk up right to it, so it's not like this big ugly situation. It was quick, cheap, and fast, and it has stopped the iguanas, right?
It has stopped the iguanas from getting in, and it did elicit some attention from the cats at first. Whenever you make
cats are biggest predators.
Yeah, whenever you make anything new, the cats are like obsessed with that for a week or so. So the reason we had to do it faster was I thought we had a little more time, because last time it took like 2 weeks when we put them in the ground for them to sprout. These took off in like
2 to 3 days.
2-3 days, because we've been getting a lot of rain, so they jumped right out. So I was like, oh man, you know, we obviously are friends with the iguanas on this property. So I said, well, I'm not setting up the buffet. I had to come out here and set something up real quick, but I think it's gonna work out good. You know, we could make a whole big area for them.
Yeah, we already extended the lines that we made to plant the ones that we made in our germination plastic containers. Those actually grew the best, the fastest, the largest. It could have been the seeds that we put in those.
Yeah, I mean, we got a bunch of plants out of the 180, about 80 seeds we planted. We've got 60 or 70 plants right now. So I got also ones going, papayas going, mangoes going. I got these pomerosas. I got a bunch of plants growing right now. Maybe this is just that time of year, the full moon or something made everything grow. But everything's going good. That's why it exceeded our expectations. Last time we planted the whole pack and we got 3 plants out of it. And this time we planted the whole pack and we got 100 plants out of it. So
yeah, so the seeds you buy matter, obviously.
It's just like a person. If you don't come from a good seed, you're going to be a little
Get out of here.
side.
But Matt did make a raised garden bed with some old wood from the fence that we didn't use, and we also planted some pumpkins in there. I know it's gonna vine out, but we needed some good space to keep away, because I think if these vines, most of them survive, we're gonna have a mess of vines, a whole mess of vines.
You don't have a mess up.
So to be continued on that. Let's get into the work of our pavilion. We gotta jump right into the steel.
Gotta go. All right, so I'm getting ready to put my steel in the footings. They're isolated footings, so the steel isn't like tying everything together, but I do feel like we're gonna have to drill anchor bolts, which could maybe try to get it to split, or at least it's gonna essentially load any force that's put on it on that one bolt. So it's gonna kind of twist from the middle. So I do feel like it needs steel in to help hold the structure together. I ordered number 3, and which would have been so much easier to work and deal with, but they sent me number 4. No big deal. I can still use it. It'll be fine. I'll just have to grunt a little more with the bends, and you know, it's a little harder to get those shorter ties around it, but it's no big deal. We're pushing forward, and we're not going to let a little thing like this stop us. Okay. I like it. All right, so now that I got my 90s together,
Which was hard. That was hard.
It wasn't too bad with this. With the 2 handles, it ain't a big deal. I mean, if I had to do 100 or 1,000 of them, I'd build some apparatus so you could just slide it in and make it real easy. But
You make a tool for that.
yeah, you'd make a little tool for it, so it wouldn't be no big deal. But yeah, it's you know, back in my day, I used to just grab them and go like that and bend them. But
Yeah, right.
I'm getting kind of long in the tooth now, so you know I got to get the pry bars out. But I did used to when I was young. I make a pretzel out of that right there.
A number 4 used to bend
A
with
number
your hands.
it could be a number 6. It could be anything. It could be any of it. I take a beam to a house and make a pretzel out of it back when I was a young man. But yeah. Anyway, we got them built. I'm gonna make my cubes of steel, and then when I put the concrete in, I'm just gonna set them in there and go. Like I said, these are isolated footings, so this is just to hold my chunk of concrete in one piece. So I said I could plow through that number 4 rebar, but I couldn't. I'm not happy with this. It's fine, and structurally it would be good. It's just gonna take me 10 times longer. So I'm gonna lose an entire day and a half on this job since I'm a one-man wrecking crew. So I'm not gonna lose a day and a half. I'm gonna take this hour and I'm gonna go to the Ferreteria and I'm gonna pay Poppy to bail me out.
Because there's pre-made ones, right?
Yeah, they have pre-made ones that are better. They have a machine that they put the thing into and it goes ting, 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 and it bends it all perfectly. I thought I was a machine. Turns out I'm just a man. All right, so I got the pieces. This is what they look like. I'm gonna zap these together so that we can get moving today. All right, so now that we got our steel in there, the last thing I have to do is cut my boards for my forms. I'm forming it up so that I can make sure to get it perfectly flat, because I believe with the base mounts, they're machined and precise. If I have a perfectly flat foundation to put them to with those bases, it's gonna help with my posts being plumb, and I think everything's gonna come out if I can get this really right. So this lets me bring it up 4 inches, be easy to screed, easy to level. I think it'll work out really nice. So I gotta finish that up and get those in. See how that one's staked? So I gotta get some stakes, drive them in, pull this up, level it, and then that's it. I'd never do that to you. All them things that you did to me. Take the kids and move in with your mama.
You didn't notice Matt's trying to make his own country song.
Oh, sorry. So when I do work like this, I think about country songs, because sometimes I'll put my phone on and I don't want to be one of them guys that's about to turn 40, but I'm going to say country music went downhill. The Morgan Wallaces and all that, they ruined it.
Morgan Wallace.
All they doing is crying over a girl every dang song. I can't listen to it, but it'll get to coming on when I got my hands full. And boy, it ain't like the Travis Tritt kicking days back in my past. These young boys done learnt the music. I tell Kristen, you can make a country...
What'd you just say?
Learnt it. I tell Kristen, you can make a country song about anything. So, you know, drop your favorite made-up country lyrics in the comments below.
Alright guys, the forms have now been leveled, so it should be good. That was a little difficult, but we got it done. And now it's the exciting part, we get to pour the concrete. Are you excited?
Yep, make some bags and pouring.
Should take how many bags per hole? 10 you said?
10-ish.
Okay, so we're gonna get the cement mixer, we're gonna whip it up, pour it in. You're gonna, what is it called? Screed it off, and
Yep,
then we
will
go to
have
the
to
next
screed
hole.
Screed it, next hole, screed
Wish us
it, next
luck.
hole.
Why do I feel like I'm more excited than you?
You ain't gonna be screed. All right, so it took 9 bags. Now it's time to screed.
Started to rain, guys. Typical us. We did the last hole. We thought the rain was going to blow over, but it's not quite. And Matt poured a whole bunch of cement in that last hole into his boot. And I try not to laugh because he was really upset about it.
I wasn't really upset. I was just like, God, that sucks. And then I saw you and you went.
Alright guys, it's a couple days later. Matt worked so hard digging all those holes and he finished all 12 holes and filled all of them up with cement. So our bases are now complete. They are ready for us to start setting up our beams. Post, right?
Post.
I'm learning. Matt's teaching me beams, post, truss.
I'm learning too. I don't know what any of this stuff means. When I worked construction, I was the lowest of the low. I was just a pool builder. So, all we do is just dig a hole, throw some steel in it, and fill it up with water. But we did build people's wet dreams in their backyard. I came up with that joke a long time ago. So, people really...
What?
Yeah, I used to go in the jobs and I'd say, well, I'm building wet dreams in people's backyards. And the customers, they'd really laugh. I came up with it.
You think the customers laughed? They laughed to your face and then said, "Never let that guy come
They
back."
probably called my boss and said, this guy's talking about wet dreams. So yeah, either way, I made it up. You guys let me know in the comments if it was a good joke that I made up all alone by myself, with myself. Anyway, so yeah, the holes are done. The bases are ready and we're getting ready to put the posts in. That's going to be the next go-to. We have a little bit of a disturbance here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we have a tropical disturbance that is, I think,
I forgot for 5 seconds, and now you reminded me.
Hey, you can never forget when you got that captainship in your blood. But yeah, so it's probably turning into a hurricane today. It still should go well south. I don't think for the farm it's going to be much of an issue, but it could turn into a pretty big issue for the Double D. So we're probably going to have to scoot down. So the post may get pushed back a week if we have to run down and save the boat. But I don't know, I'm kind of mad because even though it's going to be fun to go to the boat, it's going to be more fun to get these posts up and start building. I'm excited. The really crappy part, which was digging the holes and doing that concrete, is over with now. Your boy got his reps in. What was it? 6,000 pounds of concrete that I moved twice. And I'm guessing 6,000 pounds of dirt had to get moved out of the hole.
You feel firm.
So yeah, it was hard work for the past 2 days, but not too crazy. So we got our reps in, and now we got to hustle and save the boat. And
Yeah, so
life don't ever stop.
we'll see. We'll post some stuff on Patreon if you want to see real-time updates. And we got anything else to say? That's it.
Oh, yeah, this one's going up pretty quick. So obviously I'm gonna bolt these together. I got giant bolts and stuff. I looked into mortise and tenon stuff, and I just think it would be too hard for me to do. I don't really have the wood chop tools for that, so I think bolting it will work just fine. Let me know if some giant 1 foot long lag bolts will work to hold all this stuff together. And just say, it'll be all right, Maddie. It ain't gonna fly away if a hurricane comes.
You know there's going to be people that just tell you that it's not going to work just to make you feel bad.
Haters.
Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye. Oh, and pray for us with the hurricane. Make it go further south. The GB universe can do that.
GB Universe, put all your hands together in a circle and pray for the hurricane away.